It's time to learn a new stitch. Coming up today, you're going to learn how to do the vintage fan ripple stitch right here. That's coming up next. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on the vintage fan ripple stitch, and this is a free pattern. You can use this stitch for afghans, for scarves, whatever you really want to do. This is such a versatile stitch. So when you're using these kind of stitches, all you just need to do is look at the yarn ball and look at what it's calling for the yarn. So it's a 5mm or size H, and so you just want to match your hook to the yarn, and this stitch is very possible. So enough chit chat. What do you need to do in order to make this different sizes depending on the project that you're working on? So if you wanted a scarf, an afghan, doesn't matter. The secret answer is 9. There is 9 stitches between one section to the other. So if you were to do this out in a chain, all you'd have to do is that you chain 9. And so determine if it's big enough or not. So if you're doing a scarf, this is only a 4 section here. So there's 9, 9, 9, 9. So that's how you do it. So if you want an afghan, you just keep chaining on the beginning chain in groups of 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Determine if it's big enough, and then if not, you do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so as long as you keep it in 9. Now here's the trick. At the end of the chain you need to add just 1. Okay, so no matter how big your chain gets, as long as you keep them 9, 9, 9, 9, get to the size that you want, just add 1 extra chain at the end. So without further ado, let me show you how easy it is to begin and to do this entire concept. Today we're going to be using a 5mm or a size H crochet hook. I'm going to be using the Bernat satin today, and we're going to start off with a chain. So just like I just explained to you, the chain has to be worked in groups of 9. Remember that the one on the hook that you start off with never counts as 1. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Is it big enough for you? If not, you continue. So I'm gonna go 2 more sections of 9. So I'm gonna do this again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Is it big enough? Yes or no? If not, continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I officially have 3 sections on here, but all I would have just done for my afghan is this. I just kept making the chain in groups of 9 until I got to the size that I really wanted. At the end of the chain you have to add 1, and then you're ready to go and rock this pattern. So let's begin our first row. So all I need you to do is just pull open the chain so you see it's open, and I want you to count to the second back. So you got the first one and count to the second. So it's second chain from the hook. Instead of chaining on the first side, I want you to rotate that chain around and get that back hump only. So it's just 1 string, it's right on the very back. Let me get everything out of the way. So it's just a hump that's on the back. Once you get that first one, the rest of the humps are gonna be showing to you. I want you to single crochet that one, and I want you to single crochet the next 3. So you see how the hump is just sticking up? You just go right into it and single crochet, and I want you to have the next 3. So that was 1 out of 3, and 2, and 3. The chain is always the pain for anything really. So what we're gonna have here is that we single crocheted second chain from the hook, so that was 1, and then we did 3 more, so we have a total of 4 single crochets now in the chain. The next one we're going to do it so that it creates the arch, so it's like the chevron, and so in this one we have to single crochet 3 times into the same one. So 1, and then 2, and 3. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that we're going to single crochet the next 8. Okay, so it's the next 8. So let's do that. So just single crochet for 8. So I got 1. So just working along the chain. 2, and 3, and then 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now what we're going to do is basically what's happening here is that you have the first one, which is your group of 9. This one is sinking down and back up, but you just don't see it yet. You got to give this pattern a chance. So once you have your 8 in, you have to then put in 3 single crochets into the next one. So this is the top of the next group of 9 that you had on your pattern. So 3 into that one, and then we want to single crochet another 8. So when we started off with, we only did 4, but when we're in the middles we do a group of 8, and this is the only time this happens on this particular pattern. We're just establishing it. So if you lose count, you can just take a look. 1, 2 and 3, and then 4 and 5 6 7 and 8. So here we're going to do another 3 single crochets all into the same one. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3, and we should have 4 stitches left if we've done it right, and this is going down the other side of the chevron on the outside group of 9 that you would have. So just 4. So 1, whoops, 2, 3 and 4. So it happened to work out, thank goodness. I hate refilming when I have to. So what you're going to have is that you're going to have what appears to be a spike at the end here. You'll have a spike in the middle, and then you'll have a spike on the other side, because I said that there was 3 groups of 9. So this is what it looks like at this point. So let's turn our work and let's show you how to do the remainder of this project. So what we're going to do is that we're working up in a chevron. So the way that we start the outside is that we do a chain 1 first. In single crochet we always come to the bottom one just right directly below, but we don't want to do that because then that will help us skip that stitch. So we're gonna come to the second one over, and we're going to single crochet for 4 in a row. So 1, 2 and then 3 and 4. This will take you to the group of 3. So there is in the top stitch here there was a group of 3 stitches, and essentially what you're going to have here is that this one here should end up in the first group of the 3, this one should be the middle group of the 3, and this one's the other side of the group of 3. So in the middle one you are going to put 3 single crochets, and that helps to keep that chevron pointing upward. Now we're gonna come down the other side of the chevron. So we immediately come into the first stitch, which is the first one of the group of 3. So you have 1 and 2, and we're doing this for 4 stitches in a row. So this is 4, this is 3, and then this is 4. So here's the thing, we need to create the bottom section so that it starts to point upward. So we've come up the chevron, we're coming down, now we're gonna force it to bend. So how we do that is that we skip the next 2 stitches, go to the third, and immediately just single crochet, and that automatically just bends that bottom upwards. See, it just bends it. And so that was 1, and so we have to have a total of 4 on this side too. This is 2, 3 and 4, and so then this will take you to the top of the beginning of the, remember that group of 3, this is the other one, so this is the very top one of the group of 3. So you're gonna put 3 single crochets there. And then we're gonna come down the chevron for 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we want to skip over 2 because we're creating that bend. This is the only time you're really starting to see like you actually cannot see that you're actually working on it. So you see how it's chevron over here, it's not quite over here because we haven't skipped our 2 yet. So we skip our 2. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the next one should be the middle one of the group of 3. That's on the top, and it is. So we're gonna put 3 single crochets there. So 1, 2 and 3. So when we're coming down the other side, this is where I change compared to what I've seen online in the patterns. So you're going to come in and you're going to single crochet in 3 only. So 1, 2 and 3. Now because you did a chain 1 on this side and you have such a perfect edge going on this side, in order to achieve that I want you to put the 2 together. So you're going to go into the first one and you're gonna pull through. I want you to go into the last one, insert the hook and pull the yarn through. You'll have 3 on your hook, pull through all 3, and then that basically puts these 2 together and you'll have a better edge as a result of doing so. So let's continue along in this pattern. So let's turn our work. We're gonna start up one more time. This is the last time we're going to be doing a single crochet on this and before we start doing the fan stuff. So we're gonna chain up 1 first. We automatically skip this first one like we did before, come to the second one over, and we're going to do 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And so then the next one should be the middle of the group of the 3, which it is, and you're gonna put in 3 single crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. Now we're gonna come down the other side of the chevron and watch what we do. So we're gonna come in for 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And once we have our 4th in there, we immediately skip the next 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and go to the next one. So go to the 3rd one over. So because we're growing up on the chevron and adding our 3 stitches over here, it adds for extra stitches, therefore we always have to skip extra in the middle to create the chevron effect. So I got 1 in there, we have 2, 3 and 4. Okay, we're top of the middle again, so that means there's 3 single crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and we're coming down the chevron again, so it's 4, so it's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, we immediately skip over 2 because we're gonna come up the other side of the chevron, so skip 2, go to the 3rd one over, so and then do 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. You're in the middle now of the top, so that means that there's 3 single crochets there. So 1, 2 and 3. And I want you to do, remember what we did before where I had you put in the, I was just fixing that by the way, there's 3 single crochets there. Remember what I had you to do is put the last 2 together. So you're gonna do 3 as normal, 3 single crochets. So 1, 2 and 3, and then put the final 2 together. So just like that, and insert the hook and pull through. You have 3 on your hook and pull through all 3 and you're done. So now it's time just to turn your work and we're gonna start doing the chevron. Whenever you're in the single crochet is only ever 3 lines. So it's only ever 3 rows. So every time you get 3 rows done, you immediately start doing the fan ripple next. To begin the fan ripple, all you just need to do is that you need to slip stitch to the 3rd one over. So you have 1, 2 and 3, but you can't do it all at one time. So you're just gonna come into the next one available, just slip stitch 1, and then come to the next one, slip stitch like this. Now for the fan ripples, let me just show you what it looks like up front. So what's gonna happen on the fan ripples is that you will always have 3 that are sitting by themselves. Okay, you're going to have 3 that are working in the center, and then you're going to have 3 on the other side working by themselves. So unlike how we've been doing the 4 coming up with the single crochet, in the fan ripples we're only doing 3. So to begin to do the fan ripple, we have to start off with the chain first, and we have to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now what we're going to do is a double treble. Now for our friends in Great Britain, I don't want you to think this is, I'm talking your language, because I'm not. So we have to wrap our hook. So treble, when we do a treble we wrap twice. When we do a double treble I want you to wrap 4 times. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you come into the next stitch that's available to you and insert your hook and pull through. You are now going to pull your hook through 2, and you keep pulling through 2, just keep wrapping and pulling until you get all the way back to the top. That's a total of 5 there. So let's do another one. So we have to do a total of 3 standalones. So this is 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a double treble coming into the next one. Pull through 2. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, if that helps you. So you have 3 standing by themselves. So let's do the very middle one, and the very middle one is the top of the 3 section. Remember how there's 3 single crochets? So we wrap 2, 3, and 4 and insert, and then pull through, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and let's do it again. So wrap 1, 2, 3, and 4. We come into the very same stitch for the second time. It's the top of the middle, and we pull through for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's do it one more time. We have to have 3 right in that middle one. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and insert, pull through, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we now have one side of the chevron done. We now have the middle done, and now we have to do 3 more on this side. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and insert into the very next one that's available to you as we work down the chevron. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and let's do it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and insert, pull through, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we got one more to do. I can see that we have one more to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and insert, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you're thinking to yourself, oh my god, I hate doing anything bigger than a double crochet. Look at the size of what you're able to accomplish by doing this. This is that much of the afghan already done, or the scarf, when you do that. So it's worth the effort. So here's the trick. When you have to come to this side, we have to skip 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go to the 5th and then begin again. So we're going to wrap 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and insert. So we skip 1, 2, 3, 4, go to the 5th. Okay, so pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and wrap 1, 2, 3, and 4, and insert into the next one because we're working up the side of the next chevron, just like so. Okay, and wrap 2, 3, and 4, and insert into the next one. So now we have our 3 standing by themselves. Okay, so we have our 3 by themselves on the one side. We now have to do the middle. So wrap 2, 3, and 4, and let's get this middle down. I'm gonna speed up a little bit because I think you're probably catching on by now. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we have our middle section done. So you can see that we have our 3 standing by themselves, and then we have the 3 in the middle. So now we have to come down the other 3. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and let's come down the other side. I'm gonna show you one more chevron because it's the end of the project on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, coming into the next one. So we're doing our 3 down the other side, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now we have that completely done. So we have 3 standing by themselves, we have 3 in the middle, and 3 on the other side. So let's begin our final one, and I'll show you how to do that. So we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We immediately skip 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, go to the 3rd. So the trick is that when you have to have your 3 coming up the other side, if for example your 3rd one doesn't end up where it should and you've accidentally added a stitch, just not frog it, just fake it. Just put it where it should, because it's got so much gapping. Are you gonna be able to really tell at a distance when you're doing an entire project if you've had to skip an extra stitch in order to make it work? That's what I would do. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not a fan of frogging much unless I really have to, because when we frog stuff we end up putting it into our work in progress bin, and then it doesn't work, and then we basically never come back to it. So if you can fake it at the time to make it work, you're much better off for it. So we got a 3 on the one side. Let's do the middle. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You were gonna get so tired of counting to 4, let me tell you. You were gonna be the expert at counting to 4. 4 is gonna be your favorite number. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we come down the other side for 3. But watch how we finish it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I got 1 coming in. We're gonna have 3 on the outside as well. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's it. So you're actually completely done. So you're going to have what appears to be a jet out here. That's because this is expanding upward, and this is exactly what you have going all the way across. You're going to notice that the fan is going to make it look like it's expanding, but once we do the next row, it's gonna pull it back in balance, and this is exactly what we have at this moment. Now this stitch looks a lot better is if you when you change colors. This is where you would change color. So I'm going to just pull out my hook and go one back before I finish the final pull through, and I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to cut a generous length like so. And so what I want to do with the new color is that I want to create a slip knot, and I want to put that loop onto the hook and pull it as the final stitch so that it's ready to go. And so now I'm ready for the next row, and what I'm about to show you in the next row is exactly how you're going to repeat this pattern all the way throughout the entire project itself. So turn your project, get the yarn going to the yarn ball out of the way, get these in behind, and we want to bury those into this line as we go. So we're just putting it from behind and on top of the line just like so. So we're going to chain up 1 first, and we're going to single crochet right into the very first one. So remember how we were skipping over 1 when we started working up? This is the only row that you do not do that on. So basically every one of these stitches are going to get something. So we're going to chain up 1 and then single crochet into that first one. Pull everything nice and tight for you. Come immediately into the next one, and you want to single crochet. Just trap that stragglers right on top of that line. Go into the next one. You want a total of 4. Remember that 4 that we started with? Well, it's going to exist again. So this is basically, the next one is gonna get 3 single crochets in it. How can I tell where I am? If you look at it, you have the 3 by themselves, you have the 3 in the middle and 3 the other side. The next one is the middle one, and that just happens to work out, and that's where the 3 single crochets go into the same stitch, and this helps maintain that chevron look. Okay, and I'm gonna let these stragglers now follow the back. So now let's go down the other side. So we're going to just single crochet all the way until we get back. You're having a total of 8. So that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If your math is right, the next stitch, pull it apart, you can see it. So you got your 3 by themselves, you have your 3 in the middle, the next stitch is the one directly in the middle, and that's 3 single crochets into the same one. Okay, let's do another 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so you can test your work or trust yourself, but I can test it right now. There's my 3, there's the 1, the next one is the one directly in the middle, which is the 3 single crochets again. So 1, 2, and 3. And this time there's only 4 stitches left, but let me show you this final one, because the final one you're not gonna believe it. So it's 1, so you can see that one, 2 you can see, 3 you can see, but where is the 4th? The 4th is into the chain. Okay, you gotta go into that chain or you're gonna be missing a stitch. Oops, don't wrap first, just do a single crochet into that final chain itself, and then you just have the pattern being maintained. So this is what you can see at this point. So the chevron's being maintained, and so now let's move you up one more row before I say that basically everything is a repeat from what you already know. So let's turn our work, And basically what I'm about to show you is exactly what I showed you when we were in the second row moving up. There's only ever 3 single crochet rows. So this is already 1 done. So we chain up 1 first and we immediately skip that first one. We normally come into that first one. We're gonna come into the second one over, single crochet for 4. So 1, 2, moving up, 3 and 4. And the next one should be the middle one of the 3, which it is, which is you're going to put in 3 single crochets to maintain. 1, 2 and 3. We're gonna come down for 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this time we're going to skip over 2. So 1 and 2 come in to the third one, and that was 1 out of 4, 2, 3 and 4. The next one should be the middle one of the 3, which it is. So that's 3 single crochets there. Okay, and then come down for 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, skip over 2, come up the other side for 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. You should be on the middle one of the 3, which I am, and there's gonna be 3 single crochets. 1, 2 and 3, and then finally you're gonna come down the other side. So you're just gonna do 3 as normal. So 1, 2 and 3, and then put the final 2 together. Okay, so 1 and 2, put them both together so that they balance each other and it looks good. And that was your 4th, just like so. So basically I'm just gonna do this row one more time, and again doing exactly, and then you're gonna do the fan stitch as I've already demonstrated. And this is the Vintage Fan Ripple Stitch. Thank you on behalf of the crochetcrowd.com as well as Yarnspirations for joining me on learning this cool little stitch. Until next time, we'll see you.